Good afternoon, Speed Gaming 4. It is me, Woat, and Leggy Starscream is here in the booth with me, and it's that time of year everyone looks forward to, where the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring Tournament is happening. Leggy, you ready for this?
Heck yes! I've been excited for this tournament since we've started putting it together months ago, and I've been super hyped for every single one of these races, and I'm excited to be here delivering Sawneyrath versus Caront.
I think that's right.
Works for me.
Yeah. Now, Caront, I know, is a fairly new runner, and Sawney's been around the block for a while, so this should be a very interesting matchup. They did not opt to draft today, so we see that Sawney is going to be rocking a Thief Rainbow, as we lovingly call it, while Caront is actually rocking my preferred party, Fighter Thief Red Mage White Mage. Or as I like to call it, I don't care what stupid things this seed does, I'm ready.
Yeah, the only thing that really gets in the way of Caront's party is if the black magic decides to be particularly trolly, but usually that party's going to cover most of your sins.
Yeah, it's one of those things, about the only thing that can really get in your way is if fast lands in a place red mages can't learn it, but if it lands in a place where red mages can't learn it, you are going to have to ration it anyway. So, it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, we can talk more about what's going on once we get this thing going. I'm going to go lift the gate for the runners and get this show on the road.
Yeah, so for those of you viewers who are just joining us and don't know what this flag set is, we are running our spring tournament with a underlying series of flags. We have enemies at 200%, bosses at 230%. You'll always start with a bridge and a ship. You'll have to find a canal somewhere in a random box. And for these first couple of weeks, there will be 2 loose items. The difference from week to week will be which one of the Fiend dungeons is incentivized, and tonight, well, darling, it's better down where it's wetter, under the sea. That's right. We'll find one of our key items down with the mermaids in the sea shrine.
Yep. And they are off. So, let's see. It looks like we've got Sawney and Caront both going to check magic immediately. That is an early exit.
Ooh, that is super nice. It's also Red Mage learnable, which means if you are worried about that White Mage going down, you'll still be able to have access to it. Black Magic is a little less good. Bane is okay. It'll get you through Garland and probably the Pirates, but not much else.
I mean, you can still throw it out against some of the bosses, and there's a lot of stuff that is at least Bane-able, even if it's not necessarily going to go down to the first Bane you throw.
That's fair.
My bigger concern as far as threats to these players goes is they both immediately grab that exit. So it is the first thing in their white magic.
Well, I believe the fix to allow you to press B to cancel a cast of exit is still in play.
It might be, but it's also one of those things where name the last time that you weren't mashing the A button when you thought you were on the thing you wanted.
Look, it's a sane hope, but sometimes you have to take... I'm just saying I haven't been punished by the exit boss in a while.
And they probably won't tonight. However, it's still one of those things where when I see, exit in one of the first 4 levels, I don't care if I'm never going to use a spell. I'm buying the cheapest thing at that level.
Well, we got some key items. I think the king had the crown and Sarah had the cube?
I think it was the king with the cube, and well, one of them had one of them had the other. I think that's the important takeaway here.
Yeah.
That was the
so
crystalline cube. Thank you, Ragnarok784, our tracker for today.
Keeping us honest and keeping me on top of things. Which is why Sawny is immediately going up to Matoya's cave, going to turn in that crystal. Caront is still grinding on imps. They have trance, which is nice to get out of the pool.
Yeah, it's fair. It's just really obnoxious until you're out of, Imp Town. Oh, hey, there's our canal.
In a box, as predicted.
So, alright, I was about to say, so who's excited for, when we finally find our first item that doesn't start with a C, and we immediately get a floater? Do we have extended open on, or is it just regular?
We have regular open on, which means Sawny is still a canoe away.
Mm-hmm. So, what I'm hearing is that we are going to wind up, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Finding that canoe in the most inconvenient place on the planet.
Yeah, with open progression on, it is worth noting that if you have the Oxyale and the canal, you have access to Sea Shrine. With the canal, you still have access to Onrak, even if you don't have access to Sea Shrine. It can be at that shop.
Well, it can't be because it's the canoe.
No, the canoe can be at Onrak. You don't need the canoe to walk to Onrak from the dock.
No, the canoe can't be the vendor item.
Oh yeah, the shop. Yes. Yes.
No, if it's in the Onrak area, it's got to be in the Sea Shrine, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the way the canoe works is it's not an item; it just sets a player state. Correct? So that's why it can't be a vendor item. Same for the ship.
Regardless, it could be a fetch quest item that leads to the canoe.
Yeah. All right. So this level 2 black magic is pretty good, and I believe I saw Wall and A-Rub in white magic. So,
yeah, Wall being your ribbon in a charge. So that can, if you're feeling lucky, basically mean, I don't need ribbons and Topher, I'm just going to throw walls on everyone and call that a day.
See, I was wondering why Sawney was running around still poisoned, and it turned out that was because Sawney didn't actually have any pures.
Ah. Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
But hey, Fire 3 is actually a good offensive spell.
Yeah. So it looks like Caront took the route of going ahead and picking up some early levels before going and tackling Temple of Fiends. So,
yeah,
a little bit different strategy.
Yeah, it's going for the fire strats. Definitely a bit more reliable, but with Garland's MDef so low, it's really what you're comfortable with. Insta-kill spells can be a little finicky if you don't know what you're doing with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, every other JRPG in the last, 30 years, instant death spells have generally just kind of been I guess. But for those of you who are not familiar with Final Fantasy 1, no, instant death spells are some of the best spells in the game. Because they actually work.
Yes. Granted, they don't work all the time on all the bosses, but if you know which bosses are vulnerable to which insta-death spells, you can do work with them.
Oh, yeah, and it's one of those things where even if you're just kind of having to gamble. Now, speaking of gambles, this is an interesting move from Sawney. He is skipping Elfland for now.
Well, I mean, I think he's thinking that he really, really wants to know what the key item is. He's got the floater. If he can get a vanilla canoe, he's probably going to be like, yeah, no, that will get me in a really good spot to keep going.
can see it. It's still one of those things with the black magic and white magic we have so far at 1 and 2. I'd at least want to peep the 3rd and 4th level slots just in case it's like, oh, okay. Here's something that would make my life easier.
If it's not the canoe, he has to walk back out anyway, and there is the external dock to Elfland.
There is, but I'm going to point out his only offense right now is Bane and Fire 3. He does not have a weapon on any of his party members.
Fire 3 is good magic.
Yes, but, yeah, that happened.
And outside of those XPs, which he tried and failed to ban down a couple of, oh, well, there's the Oxyale for sale.
Mm-hmm. So,
For way too much. Oof.
That Sea Shrine play is on the table.
Yeah, as soon as you save up enough cash for it.
So if this isn't the canoe, Sawney's going to be in an interesting position. Because there are only 3 dungeons he's going to have access to.
Wow. A chime. And again, with that open progression on, Sawney now has access, at the very least, to Mirage Tower.
He has access
No,
to
wait,
Mirage.
he can go all the way.
He has access to Mirage, he has access to Top of Earth, and he has access to, well, that unincentivized Marsh Cave. But that unincentivized Marsh Cave still has boxes in it.
No, he has the cube. He can go kill Tiamat if he wants.
Oh, you're right. I actually did forget they have the cube. Okay, so, like I was saying, he has access to 2 dungeons, the Top of Earth and Marsh Cave, because there is no way Sawney is going to go attempt to clear Sky right now.
So here's my thought. You don't want to do it now, but no matter what you want, no matter where you're going to want to go to Elfland. And if he gets some embarrassment of riches there is a universe where you just go YOLO your way into Sky.
I feel like he would need, at minimum, Nuke and Life or Life 2 to land at level 3 for Sky to be a play without at least like having level 10 on this party.
Which you will get very quickly in Sky, because those enemies are worth way too much XP.
But you need level 10 in order to be able to drop enough nukes and lives for it to be worth it.
Or just a stack of houses. Just grind off that first encounter.
But Caront is making the same play Sawney did, just running past Elfland and going to go make that key item check.
Again, I don't think it's a bad play, because, you know...
I think you have justified the play adequately. I don't know. I'm more of a... I like knowing what my tactical options are looking like, and I'm liking the looks of this black magic right now.
Yeah, that Lit 3 is going to do some work.
Well, Lit 3, Lock 2, and Quad X, and Cure 4.
Sadly, that Cure 4 is locked to white mages only.
Yeah, but fortunately, both of our runners brought white mages.
Oh no! Caront was looking for the extended open dock.
You hate to see it, but this does mean he can quickly check Elfland.
Yes, and find out about that Lit 3.
I'm surprised Sawney didn't at least peep the 4th level. Oh, he needed money to actually revive his characters. That makes sense.
And use the inn.
And it looks like Caront might be in a similar boat, needing to quickly raise some funds. Fortunately, the Elfland area does have some decent money.
Indeed. I know that when I played this as a kid, you know, I killed a bunch of ogres because they gave me that sweet cash.
I mean, heck, I still do that now, but that's mostly because I play on really low, like, multipliers and really low fixed bonuses.
Yeah, so, like, 1x plus 0.
1.2x.
Okay, so
Plus-
you aren't going ridiculous.
Yeah, like 1.2x plus 50. You know, enough to where I don't have to, you know, commit my afternoon to playing a seed. I usually put a force multiplier in there based on key item pickups. Anyway, so we've got gold bracelets for far cheaper than normal, but still far richer than what we can afford right now. Here we go. Here's
there.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. So level 4, we've got White Mage only Fade.
But
And
we got Nuke to make up for it.
okay, so yeah, this is one of those spots where it's just like, on the one hand, I really wouldn't want to do Sky, but on the other hand, it is technically feasible.
Yeah, both of our runners are gonna need cash first. Because you need the money to get those. You need to get the money to get that Oxy Ale too. So,
Yeah, like, that's the thing, is... Go ahead.
Yeah, given the fact that, you know, we can't just buy the nukes and charge it to Sky with more nuke charges and cents, the play is just find early boxes. I think Sonny's going up to Dwarf Cave? Yeah.
That's a free check, it's quick and easy, he can just go ahead and do it. That makes sense. I'm gonna be honest, Leggy, if I were running this seed, I'd be going into Marsh right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking as well.
You've got Fire 3, and you can raise the levels fairly quickly to get that Lit 3 online, and at that point, there's nothing in Marsh that is a threat.
Yeah, and Sonny's already got a few Lit 3 charges. 2 on that Black Mage, and I think that's after casting 1.
Yeah, so, it's definitely a situation where I think you have to make that Marsh play, no matter how little you actually want to make that Marsh play.
Yeah. For those of you keeping score at home about these flags, the Marsh Cave is not incentivized. There is no key item guaranteed to be there. However, with 2 loose items, and that loose canal, which is not one of the 2.
Yeah,
that's not a
we already
mistake
found
I've
the
made.
canal.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the bright side is the runners already have that canal in hand, so they're at least not... That's at least not part of their calculus. What I am trying to figure out, I think Caront has gotten a little bit lost by sea, which is an understandable problem, because the seas are a dangerous place. And also, it's very easy to
Aren't
forget
they raging, if I recall the lore?
how extensive... What was that?
The seas rage, if I'm remembering my lore correctly.
You are, but yeah. So, to what's been discussed in chat, the mermaids are a great play for money, but part of the problem is we need that money to get Oxy Ale. So, if we have access, if we get enough money for the Oxy Ale, but not enough to get those nukes, then yeah, Sea Shrine's a great play with that Lit 3 and that Fade. But at the moment, C is not really in the equation because we need 14k gold first.
I think Sawney is going for the play I suggested. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, but first he has to survive the sharks. That is the one problem with that play is... unless you plan on diverting to on-rack, right now with the spells we have, you have to survive the trip there.
Yes.
And have we even seen any houses yet?
I can't say I have. Which means that currently those nuke and fade charges are not coming online, even if Sonny gets the levels for them.
Yeah, like, that's kind of what I was thinking about, is, like, yes, Sky is a lucrative play if you can make it work. That is a massive if, especially because, as far as I can tell, these runners really have not gotten any equipment for their party members.
I know that Caront did a early buy of just like whatever was in the shops, like small knives, but that's gonna not do anything up in Sky.
Yeah, like, you basically need that magic in order to really accomplish anything. And yeah, Sawney is going in with just 10s. And his reward is 1,000 gold and horrifying obliteration.
Never mind, he has one nuke on the Black Mage.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough to... Yeah, I was going to say, it's not going to be enough to clear this in one round, but he should be fine.
He is fine, thank goodness.
Yeah, now he really needs to find a house in here, or he might have some difficulties.
I mean, with the exit charges, this play is a little less scary than it would normally be, but I don't know how you get up to that second.
Yeah, well, fortunately, he found just enough money for that Oxyale, so even if he can't make it to greater than less than room, he should be able to at least get that Oxyale, and Sea Shrine is a much friendlier play for him. Meanwhile, Caront has finally made it over to Provoca, dealt with the pirates, picked up his loot, and presumably picked up the rest of the stuff that was available in Provoca. So, yeah. We'll see what kind of play he decides to make. Like I said, Caront's a newer runner, and I feel like some of this right now is a combination of nerves, and this being a particularly, like, frustrating situation to be in, because you really can't... Your options are basically diving for loose items in 3 dungeons you really don't want to go to.
Yeah, and like, Diving Marsh is probably the safer play, but, you know, it is scary.
Yeah. Now, greater than less than room does have the value. I saw a Sun Sword, a Katana, and a decent chunk of cash. But that Red Mage died, so Sawney has to reset out.
Does Sawney just not have heal pots?
He might not.
Because he left that Red Mage down with like 0 HP to check that last chest and got super punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, I think he had to burn through most of his money just getting his party back up in Elfland. And then buying spells, so... but fortunately for him, he does at least have the cash needed to go get that Oxyale and, you know, go for a safer treasure dive.
Yeah. Definitely trying to take out this Tyro, but definitely having a bit of trouble with it.
Yeah, the thing about Tyros is they do have pretty solid magic defense, and they usually wind up with a decent amount of health. So they're hard to just polish off.
Yeah, Caront picks up his chime.
Yeah. And the Home for Infinite Losers bringer in chat is confirming he never did pick up any potions. So, yeah, that does make sense.
Fair.
So Caront getting the bad news that Oxyale is going to require a dip into one of these dungeons that you don't want to dip. And he also forgot to hit up the inn.
Yeah, he also was ridiculously broke.
Yeah.
Ooh, it hadn't saved since last time in Provoca.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I was thinking, is he might not have any... He might have had any items to save with. Yeah, this is starting off as a poverty seed.
Yeah.
Like, Sawney finally limps back to Elfland, gets that red mage picked up, and he's going to have about 5,000 left, so he may be able to kind of bolster his party's current supplies. Anyhow,
Chooses not to.
Yeah. And that is the thing, like, as Rag's pointing out in chat, is we have all been in this position, and this is just a nasty seed to have to start off in. Like, it's a very feels bad seed.
Yeah, like when your level 1 black magic is Bane and Fire, that'll troll anyone who's just starting off. Especially if you're used to seeds where it's like, oh yeah, there's level 1 nuke.
I mean, that's even a problem for more experienced runners. We do at least have life at level 5 white, and fast at level 5 black, so...
Sawney blows all that money that could have gone to the Oxyale Fund.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm thinking he's either thinking, I'm going to go right on back to Sky, or he's planned to go open more boxes somewhere else. He does know that there is some value in Sky too, or in Mirage too.
Yes.
It's just getting to it that's going to probably be an issue.
Yeah.
But
and
no,
it's
he
just
is
a matter
going
of
to
surviving that value. Yeah, I don't blame Sawney for not wanting to do the double dip. I think he's deep on the I need to find a loose item hunt.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Yeah, he is not going back to Sky at the moment. It looks like he is currently looking at just doing the Earth play. He's got those eggs. He's got plenty of exit charges, so this isn't the worst idea. You can just kind of hop in, grab what you need, hop out. But, you know, Earth is about as popular as Marsh Cave. Apologies for the coughing, folks.
No worries. Yeah, Caront is doing a bit of grinding for just finances outside of Crescent Lake, which, you know... Oh, it must be Tuesday for the Final Fantasy I randomizer. The Crescent Lake enemies tend to be some of the best enemies you can get to on the overworld early.
Well, yeah, I mean, Crescent Lake is basically the Peninsula of Power, but Peds live there too.
Right. And so Caront has his whole party back up and fully healed, and then gets squinted. Oof.
So that's 2 enemies with Squint that we've already seen.
How many of those are in the pool?
Why are you asking me? What in the last 3 years has suggested to you that I know what's in the pool?
It was a rhetorical question.
And I gave you a rhetorical answer. Anyway, Sawney does find a dragon sword at least, so that's
I think
the
that's
best
one of the
weapon
ones the thief can
that
equip.
he's... Yeah, no, it's basically the best sword a thief can use, I think, short of like the Coral. Or the Maza, obviously, but yeah, no, that dragon sword is a good find for the early game because it means your thief, you know, actually has a good weapon. Also, yeah, we didn't comment on this before, but Sawney found a really good spike tile here with the R-Giants and the Agava. The only problem is that those R-Giants hit like a truck.
Okay, I looked it up. There are 2 squints in the pool.
So if we see a 3rd squint, then there are problems.
Yes.
And Sawney wipes. Those R-Giants are beefy today, though.
Yeah, the Paralisk and the Evil Eye are the enemies that give us squint.
Alright, so Caront, it looks like, is currently opting to leave his thief down.
Which is a fairly popular strategy, especially when you have a seed like this where you really need party members who can survive things.
See, I tend to be of the opinion that a good survival strategy includes the thief. Just because that thief basically gets to decide what you fight.
Which I personally tend to lean more towards your opinion. However, it is one of several opinions that float around this community.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's part of what makes this randomizer fun is there's no one right answer, no matter what some people assert.
Indeed, and that's even true from seed to seed.
Yeah.
It also wouldn't surprise me if Caront isn't going for grinding for the gold needed to get that Oxy Ale.
I mean, this is, at least as far as needing to get gold for a key item, this is one of the best places for that to happen. And yeah, we do find a Bane Sword on Sawney's side here in Earth 2. So, yeah. I feel like at this point I would just be going, you know what? This is now Bane Strat territory. I will now be Bane Stratting for the rest of this seed.
Yeah.
And it looks like Sawney is agreeing with that sentiment.
I mean, Triple Bane will do some work.
Yeah, no, Cloud Kill is a nasty spell. Not just because of how it smells.
Or the fact that it has kill in the name.
Semantics. I mean, Power Word Kill also has kill in the name, and...
I'd still call that nasty.
Yes, it's a very situational spell, because you first have to figure out, oh, this guy has less than 100 HP. And then you have to be fighting something that dies.
I mean, yes. But also in FF1, it's 300 HP.
Well, yes, which makes it actually more effective, because that actually reflects the curve of HP way better when it comes to enemies.
Yes. And there are plenty of enemies here where getting that Quad X off can be super useful. I think Carry is one of the more popular targets.
Yeah. Basically, and this is part of the reason I personally am a big fan of Quad X as a spell, is, outside of the usual suspects, there aren't a lot of things that resist it. So it's just a matter of, oh, I need to, it's a good spell just throw out there when you think you've almost got it in the bag.
Yeah, and if you find enemies that are grindable, it can often just be like, okay, I'm just gonna snipe off one just to get things started.
Yeah. So it looks like Caront did not, got about 12k, didn't bother to get the Oxyel now. He instead stocked up on potions and a few houses. So I'm not sure where he's planning to go, but if he also makes a sky play, he's going to be in a much better position to capitalize on it than Sawney was, just because he will be able to get those spell charges back.
And he'll be able to heal up midway up the tower when your exit caster is running low on health.
Yeah, well, we'll see where he goes from here, but yeah, he at least is much better provisioned than Sawney through to this point. Sawney has an XP and exploration edge, but it's one of those things, if Caront's preparations pay off, then we could have a tortoise and the hare kind of a situation.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you never know how nasty Topher is going to be. And especially with Caront's fighter there, if Sawney has to take this party up to a much higher level just to get through some nasty skill lists in Topher, Caront might have the edge by taking it slow and steady.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, not putting that knife on the thief, in spite of the fact that the thief basically is the only offense the thief has is a Bane sword in a dungeon infested with undead. On Sawney's side, I mean. Caront's thief, meanwhile, wound up locking eyes with a shark and passing out from sheer fright.
I've seen Jaws. I know how that goes.
I don't think that happened in Jaws.
Maybe
Like,
not in the movie.
Okay, maybe in Jaws 4, because that was the one where the shark was like a shaman's familiar spirit or something, and like had this whole curse thing going on, but I think in the original, the shark just ate people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying it happened in the movie. I'm saying it happened to me. I mean, what?
Leggy, are you trying to say that Steven Spielberg ripped off your autobiography? Because that's a hefty accusation, ma'am.
Oh no. I'm just saying that I watched that movie a little young.
Ah, okay. But the sharks didn't kill you.
Correct.
Okay, so while we were having that incredibly stimulating discussion, Sawney found pretty much Bupkis down in Earth Cave. He bumped into some guy and then took his life savings of 100 gold. Honestly, I think the only value he got was a free gold ring and a Bane sword.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good value. It's armor he didn't have. It's an instant kill weapon that, can hit reasonably hard if you have a character who can wield it, which he doesn't because it's promotion locked. It's just kind of a, it's a play. And I think Sawney at this point is going to commit to the Sky play. Because I don't know if he has enough money yet to pick up that Oxyale, because he really did not find anything down there in Marsh. And I mean, unless he's planning to sell some equipment to make the money.
Wait, when did someone go to Marsh?
Not Marsh, Earth. Never mind, he has 35,000. Okay, ignore me. Yeah, I guess I did forget that he did fight, actual high-value enemies and not just the normal trash in Marsh.
And so Sonic... I get the feeling that Oxyale is going to be our big bit of progression here.
Well, it's the only thing we have right now that's guaranteed to lead to a key item.
Yes.
So, it is kind of the next logical move. Caront, meanwhile, is going to make this play for Sky, it looks like. Although, he is packing that Quad X, so he might actually be able to take this Tyro down.
Oof. Tyro has more than 300 over what he's done so far. I haven't been counting, so I don't know where this Tyro's at.
Yeah. Rag, I mean, ideally it will lead to Canoe. But the thing is because the randomizer doesn't, have any kind of, well, this is the logical progression going for it, it could also lead to the key. Or to the, rod. So, yeah. Yeah, the Canoe is almost certainly going to come soon because there's not too many places left for it to be.
Or the Ruby.
Okay, that's true. Titans and Sartre are also incentive locations, and the Ruby has them locked. Thank you for pointing that out, Leggy. Was it necessary to lean in and get all dramatic about it?
I mean... yes?
Okay. Alright, you're the boss. But yeah, so it's one of those things, the Canoe is absolutely one of the likely suspects just because of the way that, this seed is playing out in terms of available checks, but it is by no means. Did I say Ruby or Canoe?
You said Ruby.
Okay, I meant to say Canoe. But yeah, the point is, there are a few likely suspects for what's here. It's almost certainly progression, because if it's not progression, that means our progression is loose in either Marsh, or it's loose in the Floating Fortress.
Yeah. Now, the progression could technically, we might find, say, the Thor hammer in the mermaid's chest. How do you feel Sawney's chances are if he has to go open boxes down in Sea Shrine now that we know? Well,
he's going to die.
In the Autorack shop. Because we found the shop item.
Yeah. No, if it's loose in sea, then this is one of those times when I feel like you have to go, well, I guess I'm going back to Marsh. Because the problem with sea compared to sky is basically, like, Sky can play... Oh, hi, T-Rex. Sky can play nice. Just in terms of proximity of chests to where you have to go to get them. And it can play nice in that things can generally be fairly polite to deal with. Where C doesn't play nice is ghosts exist. Like, that would be the main reason I would not want to have to go look for a loose item in C right now.
Yeah. I mean, you do have Fire 3, which, if turn order is nice, but the problem is, with all the heavy physical damage down in Sea Shrine, you're basically playing nuclear football every single fight.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is Sawney does not have equipment for this party right now. I think he's got a gold bracelet, and this concludes our discussion of the equipment that Sawney is currently carrying on his party.
Yeah, that thief has the gold bracelet as well as a pro ring that he opened in the opening
Sea
box
Shrine.
of Sea.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. And as is being pointed out in chat, the chests are also way more scattered. You are taking a lot more steps to get checks. So yeah, if you need to go looking for a loose item in C, you're also... The other thing about C, there's a lot more spike tiles blocking your path.
Yes.
To getting to chests.
This isn't necessarily a party that really needs a super big grind.
Well, I mean, I'm not even thinking the grind. I'm just thinking in terms of things you have to get past to check loose items.
That's also fair.
Yeah, like, it's just one of those things. C is probably the least favorite dungeon in my book for looking for a loose item in. Because it's time-consuming, and even at relatively high levels, you still can get your teeth kicked in if turn order is not in your favor.
Yeah. Though, I did double-check the numbers. Ooh, a ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And Bane versus Kraken is 14% to work.
Yeah, that Ice Sword's going to be real nice for the Red Mage on Sawney's side. So he is at least... And he found like 10,000 gold in a chest. So he is getting value here. It's just horrific and painful. On the bright side, though, Caront did manage to get all the treasure out of Mirage. And we found a rod.
Yeah, so the mermaids were holding on to the Earth Rod. So that means progression is loose?
No. Oh yeah, you're right, because the rod can only lead to stuff in Earth.
Yeah, so it could be that the rod was blocking the canoe down in the bottom of Earth Cave, but...
But no one likes to check all the chests on Earth 4, because it's the 4 chests up there, and then you have to walk so far to get the other 3 chests.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
At least there's a useful route for running around the floor right before Kraken and Sea.
Yeah, it looks like Sawney is going to go ahead and make this this trip down the Kraken side of Sea Shrine to look for that loose item that he knows has to be somewhere now. Caront does not have that information.
Yeah, it sucks, but you're there, and I definitely like doing the dive more than I like having to come back if it's not here.
Yeah, no, like, I do agree there. It's just, like, this is such a painful situation. Like, I guess he has the thief, so he can run from a lot of very rude things, but, you know, there's also a lot of very rude things, and the rudest thing of all might just be Kraken.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if Sawney's thinking, you know, let's just roll the dice and try to bane Kraken.
Well, so if he finds a loose item here, then he has to make a choice.
Yeah.
Or if he finds equipment that he's like, ooh, I really want to keep this, because he does have those exit charges.
Yeah.
So he can always just bail rather than taking on the squid.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was saying that is, you know, he can just opt to not fight Kraken. Yeah. Caront, meanwhile, continues to have some very impressive prep work in my book. Like, it's one of those things, this is definitely kind of the slow road, but it's also one of those things where it may wind up, helping him in the long run if he makes a play that Sawney doesn't want to make, for example, because he has the resources to make that move.
Because, for instance, he got all of this stuff out of Mirage 2 that Sawney had to leave on the table.
Yeah, and that Sun Sword did work for him on the way back from Mirage. I was watching out of the corner of my eye, and it did some rude things to some very rude enemies. Also, wow, I did not realize how cheap Nuke was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just kind of saw it and then didn't bother to read the price tag. Because, yeah, here's the thing. Because Caront, I think, is making that Marsh play. So here's the thing.
That's what that looks like, yes.
Yeah. If value's not here, then Sawney knows he's got to go to Marsh. If Caront just goes to Marsh and finds, like, the canoe, he's back in this race. Just straight up. Like, all of that exploration Sawney's done will give him a little bit of an edge in that, you know, he won't need to go back and check those boxes, but everywhere Sawney's been, he's going to have to go back to. Whereas if it turns out the canoe's down here in Marsh and Caront can just immediately get airborne, that's going to go a long way to to eating into Sawney's exploration edge.
Yeah, especially if Caront can then snowball that into, say, avoiding opening all the boxes Sawney is down here in Sea Shrine.
Very true.
Because
and there's the ruby.
Ooh, that's 2 key items right there, Loose and Marsh.
Yeah, so...
That's huge.
And Sawney finds nothing but money. I think he may have not checked one spike tile chest in the bottom left corner of Sharknado floor. Like, I can't remember if I think he walked up to that tile, but he didn't actually step on it. But, yeah, like... And that is a flame armor for Caront, so...
That is a hefty upgrade for that fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am seeing he is, he should have taken the exit, but... Yeah, so
Luckily,
Sawney...
scum aren't that bad.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a misstep. Nope, he's still going.
Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and run around down here. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but the levels he's got hanging on his party at this point at least make Marsh a lot less threatening.
Indeed. Marsh is a lot less scary when you aren't doing it at, like, level 4.
Yeah, and also pointing out from chat, he also found a Vorpal and Flame armor down here. So, even if he wipes, he knows that there is value in the top of Marsh.
Yeah, and that Vorpal sword is going to be a nice upgrade for that red mage when promotion finally happens.
Yeah, no, he's got a Sun Sword, a Vorpal Sword, and a Katana right now. You know, not necessarily the armor you want to bring to the end game, but it can take care of business.
I'll be happy bringing that to the end game any day of the week.
True. The Katana is nice to bring. The Vorpal and the Sun Sword are, you know, not necessarily what I would consider ideal. The Vorpal a little more so. Like, I love the Sun Sword, don't get me wrong, but, like, with fast landing where it is, you probably are going to at least want, like, maybe an X-Cal or a defense to go with it. Something that can something that can hit a little bit harder most of the way through, and something that can at least give you the defense to chew through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, with fast also being high level, that kind of kills a little bit of the value on the Vorpal. The Katana works out a little bit better just because of what that thief's going to be swinging with in terms of hit percent, but Sawney is at Kraken. It looks like he's just going to go for, please have low HP today, Kraken strats. And he did.
Kraken obliges.
That was less than 600 HP, so Sawney, still, I think, a little bit of a lead.
And a loose herb in Marsh, too. Both of our loose items are in Marsh.
Alright, so depending on what those lead to, Caront is back in this. Actually, no, they have to lead to the canoe at this point. We don't have access to anything else, and we now know where both of the loose are, so depending on whether the prince or the sage is guarding, or the titan have the canoe, Caront may have just closed that gap.
Yeah, and if I'm Sawney, I might be thinking, I have the rod, I might as well gamble on Marsh, get my extra fiend kill as well, and go do Earth.
Nah, he's going to Elfland.
Look like he's thinking that.
Nah,
but...
Yeah, like, it's one of those things, at this point, Marsh is a higher density than Earth.
Yeah, especially when you've already done the top half. Which I forgot in the calculus there.
The only reason I'm not saying that Caront is in the lead is because, it depends on whether or not he feels like he's in go mode. Like, when he feels like he's in go mode is going to decide, in my opinion, when he's going to, like, be in the lead. Wait, no, Sawney, where are you going? He's going to Earth. Never mind, Caront's in the lead.
Yeah.
We know that there is no value in Earth.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe, like, a Maza.
Yes. So the one thing that will be interesting to see is whether or not Caront keeps opening chests. He is definitely demonstrating to be a player who really likes having that extra equipment on hand. And so he might still keep opening boxes even now that he's found all of the loose. And if Sawney dives back in here, gets his stuff, and then just does not open any more boxes, there could be a balance in the other direction. But Caront definitely has... The more time Sawney delays going to Marsh, the more of a lead Caront can build.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, even though he can go mode the top half of Earth, he's going to check all the boxes on the 4th floor. And that 4th floor can have some really nasty surprises.
The herb is the canoe.
Alright.
Okay.
So Caront needs to immediately take this and turn it into an airship and then go do his Sword and Titan check. But yeah, very wisely saving, and then he's going to hop in his boat and go. Or no,
Or just walk it.
Well, I thought he was parked at the southern dock. But yeah, no,
yes.
he can just walk it. Now, fun fact, going south from here, I believe, is slightly faster in terms of step routing than taking the river system.
Yeah, you do get those free steps by stepping in and out of your canoe.
I think that I think that accounts for the free steps.
Yes, that was going to be the follow-up point.
Okay.
But also, not taking the river system means you avoid those thunder creeps.
Yeah, I feel like Carant's going to take the south route after seeing that. I mean, hopefully, like I said, he's a newer runner. I'm hoping he at least is aware that you can just go through the swamp to the south and just avoid the river entirely. Because the thing is... Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that happens in games like these is when you learn one route to get through things, you might not necessarily look for the backup plays.
All right, well...
But
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. The thing is, this is the route you almost always see people take, because it gets you to Crescent faster, and usually if you are rowing from Elfland to the south east side of the continent, you're trying to get to Crescent, not to the Ryukon Desert. If you're trying to get to Crescent, the river's the faster route. So you very rarely see that approach. So, that's something to be mindful of, when you're watching this, is it's faster. But at 53 minutes, Caront is our first runner airborne, and I completely missed what was in those top 5 chests for Sawney. But it looked like it was mostly just money.
Yeah, it's not the key items. We know where those are. Level 6 Ice 3 and Brack.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be more helpful to Sawney than Caront, just because he has the Black Mage who can actually learn crap at level 6 Black Magic.
Mm-hmm.
But the canoe was at the Elf Prince, Hiffelbringer. But yeah, so Caront has managed to turn this around real quick. I think Sawney is still going to be able to make up some of the time on him, just because I think Sawney is a little more comfortable with navigation in the overworld. But
unfortunately, Caront missed the turn to get to Sarda, but pulls a bottle out of the old man.
Yeah, and hopefully he remembers that Titans is also incentive location and grabs that right now. I know that is something that I've seen people forget about, just because, but fortunately he does remember the Titan is getting fed today, and we are going to see what else comes out of this.
Yeah, that Titan is going to get fed a lot this tournament, since we did incentivize Titan's Trove over Marsh. The rationale for that was it led to some of the interesting routing you're seeing here.
Alright, and there's a slab. So Caront can go ahead and get that translated, and then go ahead and check Gaia and Lefane in one fell swoop when he feels like it. He's not, but he could have.
Yes. Deciding to just piece off to the north?
It looks like he's... Yeah, I think he got up to Onrak and then immediately realized, wait.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he is now going to go talk to the good doctor. Go ahead and pick up his slab. So, yeah, Caront is definitely going to be in a very good position once he is done making all of these checks.
Yes.
And Sawney is going to have to head over to Marsh Cave. F's in chat. Just because he has to do Marsh now.
Yeah. Looks like he's gonna go turn in that bottle right now. Visit the tiny fairy friend.
Yeah, he popped the lid off that sucker before he even got out of Sarda's cave. Caront definitely has something of a plan.
I like it. I also like just passing on Cardia, given that, again, he knows where all the loose items are. He just
Yeah.
needs to hit those key item spots.
Yeah, about the only thing that I would really want to think that maybe I'll find if I dip into Cardia is maybe a defense sword or a white shirt. Because those are not incentivized in this flag set, and so but are hilariously valuable.
God, yeah.
Yeah, remember,
having-
kids. Go ahead.
Oh, you go.
No, you go.
Evasion stacks are super valuable, especially when you get into the Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, remember, kids, the fist that hurts the least is the one that doesn't punch you.
Now, of course, spell-happy fiends can be a whole other kettle of fish, but once you start getting down to... Actually, no, I'm just going to amend that to every fiend other than Lich has been known to hit like a truck.
I'm telling you, we need to have that respect Lich flag.
It's called vanilla speedrunning.
We don't do that here, except for Tarnin.
Yeah? And
I'm just saying, a Lich that gets maxed out stats would be hilarious.
And we find the elves up in Lupa Lupa Land holding on to a crown.
I don't think that they're elves, Leggy. I think they just like wearing sheets.
I mean, I guess. Do you want me to call them frat bros?
No.
Fair. This looks like Caront is going to run down that crown. We know he needs to get into Sea Shrine, not only to kill Kraken at some point, but to get the rod for killing Lich.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. Those are very go-modable checks. And he gets an opal donut out of this. Now, fun fact: Astos, you just quad X him.
Yeah. Usually, especially in this flag set, he won't have enough HP to.
Yeah,
resist.
I think you have to get up into like the mid 200s before he's a risk of just not like being able to quad X him and go.
Yes.
Ragnarok asking important question in chat: did Sawney just skip the herb? I can't remember which chest which box that was in, so it may be in a link chest.
It's also entirely possible that Sawney is just doing the ratting slightly differently.
Yeah, okay, here we go. He's going to get his herb here in a sec. Well, first he's going to see a ribbon and then realize, oh, I should probably take that. Alright, there's his herb. So, Sawney will get his canoe, and then he will be airborne. Caront, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and make that sea play, pick up that rod, and probably work in a waterfall check at the same time. Now, you know what I find kind of hilarious about this seed?
What do you find kind of hilarious about this seed, Woat?
We haven't set foot in Volcano or Ice Cave yet.
We also haven't done Castle Ordeals.
I mean, yeah, but that's usually kind of a later game check, whereas, you know, Volcano is usually one of the first things you do.
Yeah, and I think it's because we had such a late canoe.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's absolutely why, but I just find it hilarious.
True. You know, when you have this canal in places where it's going to basically be guaranteed to be useful, you do see a lot of seeds where you get the canal, but the canoe is what is super loose and super late.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things right now, as far as who's in the lead goes. Sawney has 2 orbs, and he's about to get airborne. So that is to his favor. The thing is, though, is the 2 orbs he has lit are both very fast if you're in go mode. And so it's one of those things, Sawney could make up, like, Caront can make up some ground, and if Sawney runs into any kind of trouble where that fighter would be nice to have, then Caront could easily, like, close whatever distance, like, whatever time he's losing by not having those orbs lit, he's going to get back if Sawney runs into any kind of trouble where you need a tank.
Yeah. And, of course, Caront has hit 2 of the 3 key items, incentivized items that aren't key items. We found the Cheerio, we found the hammer. Sadly, neither of those are the power glove, which is the item that, in my opinion, you really want to see.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that Thor's hammer's getting used!
I mean, castable items are never bad to have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if I had to pick one, I'm picking the glove.
Oh, yeah, no, I would absolutely use the power glove to the hammer, but and we might be seeing that here in a moment as Caront checks the robot, and it's the adamant. So, do you want to do a fetch quest? Have to be a fetch quest.
Okay, bye. Yeah, so right now, we're, for go mode, we're missing a Mystic Key, and that's it.
Yeah, no, once we have the key. Alright, Caront avoiding C entirely. I think he's gonna go check dwarves.
Which, I understand, he does have that adamant, he is running things down, but I would have just dove C there so you don't have to backtrack.
Yeah, and that's I think an experience thing. Getting used to the idea of it's usually going to be faster not to avoid the double dip, but he does get a power bonk for his trouble.
You'll love to see it.
Oh, absolutely. So I think that means at this point our tail and our key are between Ice Cave and Ordeals. So we're about to pretty much have complete knowledge of where everything is as soon as Sawney does this check.
Now, granted, one of them is going to be behind the TNT. But that's the only wrinkle here.
Alright, so TNT in Ordeals will lead to a key at Dwarves.
Ooh, Sonny also finds a black shirt in the ice chests up top.
Yeah, that's going to be nice for his black mage, especially now that he has a tail. So we're probably going to see him eventually go turn that in. Maybe not. Yeah, he's going to do that now. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. When I'm trying to navigate the northern continents, I basically use Onrak and Ordeals as my landmarks to find the Cardia Islands. I cannot find the things otherwise.
Gods, I know you... I think if you just fly south from Elfland, it gets you there, but, I swear it never works for me somehow.
I think direct south from Elfland is, just east of Ordeals, so technically, yes.
Okay, that explains where I keep getting tripped up.
Because I know, alright, if from the Ryukon Desert, you can fly due south to hit Gaia,
Yes.
the Desert Landing Point, and Lefane. And you can fly almost due north to hit the volcano and the ice cave, and you just have to jog a little bit to the side to hit Crescent Lake.
Provoca.
And Provoca, yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that's kind of my big landmark, is I just know once I have the airship, I can hit like half the significant locations of the game by just flying north and south.
Yep.
But
Does
yeah.
Caront not have warp?
No. I think the slot warp is in may not be Red Mage accessible.
Oh no, so he has to do it the long way.
Well, he's at least got exits, so he can swing through here.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those things, he still has a good chance of finding good equipment for his party doing this.
Yeah, and I think this was the black shirt chest as well.
Black shirt was actually the left-hand chest.
Oh, it's just
This
a heal
is the heal
pot.
pot.
That's unfortunate.
Nah, it happens.
He's an experience on Frostwolves, at least.
Yeah. And yeah, he can afford to toss something kind of useless. Yeah, like that silver gauntlet. That works. Yeah. So that at least gives him a little extra firepower to kind of make his way through the rest of the seed. Sawney, meanwhile, having to make all these checks, hunting for his mystic key. So I think he still has... Yeah, once he talks to the robot, he'll have the knowledge necessary to know this is where my key is.
Yeah, because I think he's checked everywhere else at this point as well.
Yeah, he has. He'll last location ordeals, basically, to get that key. And I mean, the question, though, is if he's going to go ahead and go get that key, well, TNT into key, or if he'll go ahead and clean up Volcano and Sky and then grab the key and just dive straight into Temple of Fiends.
I can totally see the universe where he does Ordeals and Sky in the same play, because, you know, they're both right there.
True. This is true, but if he does Volcano into Sky and then does Ordeals, it's the same net effect.
True. So it really depends which Fiend dungeon he wants to go for first.
Yeah, and I think it also just depends on how he feels about his equipment situation, because he does... I think the only katana we've seen is the one that was in Sky. So he may also...
That checks out.
Yeah, he may also take the angle of, alright, I'll hit Volcano because I have the gear to deal with Volcano. I know there's a katana in Sky, so I can grab that, toss that on my ninja, go finish Sky, and then just sweep through Ordeals with plenty of warp charges, and then just go. Because I can then hit the dwarves, and then fly straight from the dwarves to Temple of Fiends. I think that might be the best route, given what he knows and what he has.
Yeah, I definitely agree that no matter what, you want dwarves at the last second to get the key to go straight into Topher. Everything else, I think, is up for debate, but I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, so Caront, I don't think, has really seen too much in this unfortunately necessary ice trip. Not even really good spike tiles. I think the best thing we saw was, like, a unrunnable worm encounter.
Yeah.
Alright, and...
One last check?
Sonya deciding...
Ooh, slime tile.
Ooh, and that Fire 3 at level 2 magic, that's nice for this, but, I mean, you also have Fate.
Yeah, I can totally see the universe where Caront sits here, dumps all those Fade and Nuke charges into those, or just exits out right away because he doesn't feel like he has time for the grind.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. He's got solid levels on this party with the equipment he has. Especially now that he has a tail. So
Yes.
He's gonna go ahead, turn that tail in, get that fighter and thief geared up, Because remember, he was able to walk that katana out. So he already has weaponry for his fighter and for his knight and his ninja online. So he can go ahead and get this rockin'. So, yeah, like right now, Sawney has a lead, I would say, but it's maybe a 5-minute lead if Caront plays his cards right. Like, if Caront realizes that he can just go mode, if Caront realizes he can just rush to the incentive chest and C, go mode crack inside, and rush Lich, all it'll take is Sawney having one wipe in Temple of Fiends, and this is an even heat.
Agreed. It'll just be the question of, you know, what Caront decides to do, and of course, what Topher looks like.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. If Topher has something that, you know, just pastes Sawney's party, while Caront is able to get through it because, oh, hi, I brought a knight, sorry about that, then, yeah, this match is by no means over.
So I guess my question is, does that fighter have any good magic?
Huh. He can learn Invis, I think. And exit.
Fair.
So, like, the fighter does have a couple of things that he might be able to do. And the ninja does have the ability to learn Saber.
Yeah, there's level 7 heal 3.
Yeah, and Shift's right. We do also have Cure 4, I think, at level 2 white. So the knight has a few options that he can bring into play.
Where are you going, Caront?
I think Caront's I think that's what Caront's trying to figure out where he's going right now. Looks like heading back to C. Which this should not take long.
Oh yeah, this should be a feeding frenzy.
Knight does not get Fade. Fade was at level 4.
But yeah, Cure 4 on a knight with even 1 or 2 charges can totally turn the tide of a rough fiend battle.
Hold on. Cure 4 is at level 3. I think that might have been White Mage locked. Because I think it was in the 4th slot.
Oh yeah, because if the Red Wizard didn't pick it up, then the Knight can't.
Yeah. Alright, so...
Okay, so the Knight is just a beef stick. No magical augmentation necessary.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, the Knight is a beef stick. If there is any kind of a gatekeeper in Topher, Sawney is basically going to be stuck in a situation where he's either got to be able to burn through it faster than it can burn through his party, or he's going to need to go out and grind.
Yeah, and right now he's on the Bridge of Destiny, so I assume those HP totals are near max. Which is saying a lot.
I think that he might have like a couple extra 100 available for the ninja, but otherwise, based on where he's been gaining experience, I think he's sitting in the low 20s right now at best.
Okay, yeah, so the ninja has the most HP of anyone in the party at 309, which is a small number compared to what a nuke or nuclear can roll.
Yeah. Caront's still checking a few chests on the way. I don't agree with the play, but it is one of those things like, I think his best armor right now is an opal bracelet, fire, and ice armors.
Yeah,
so
one of the things we've noticed for Caront in general is that he is a cautious player.
Yeah, he's definitely... very, very in the Tarnin vein, I feel like. Like, Tarnin's a little more willing to skip out on chests, but also that same element of, I'm going to play my game, and if my opponent wins by taking chances, so be it. But if I win because my opponent took too many chances and I didn't, then I'm going to win because my opponent took too many chances.
Yeah, so, for instance, Caront did find a second ribbon down an ice cave that Sonny skipped out on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, then... Where did Sonny find a third ribbon, then?
Wait, Sonny has 3 ribbons?
He didn't find the ribbon down an ice cave, and I thought he found a second ribbon somewhere.
I'll have to double check where Sonny's at. Because I thought Sonny was only running 1, but maybe I misread his armor screen.
I could have sworn I saw a ribbon somewhere that wasn't ice cave or that chest.
Oh, there's the one in March.
Okay, you're right. All right.
Okay, so they both have 2. I was just completely...
Okay, because yeah,
I thought I saw something good at ice.
Okay, yeah, I looked away when Caront was checking Frost Wolves, so I thought maybe you saw him pick up a ribbon there. All right.
Yeah, no, so that was on me. I apologize.
How dare you, Leggy? How dare you?
I'm just the worst.
Alright, so Caront, so what Caront did is he just checked a couple of the easy chests on the way down to Mermaids. He'll probably catch the 2 greed chests on the way down through C, hit the greed chests in maybe Sharknado Room, and that will be the extent of his chest checks here in C. And if
that's going to save a lot of time.
Yeah, if he checks anything in Earth, I'll be surprised. Like, he might do an armory check and maybe a couple of the, like, intersection chests on Agama floor while going down Volcano, but again, that will be the extent of it, is it's just, you know, hit the chests that are either high enough density to be worth going out of my way, or... Okay, or he'll just go ahead and check these 2 chests right here. Going ahead and checking that spike tile, even though he didn't really need to worry about it, but, you know, it is one of those things... he doesn't know what Topher's got in store, so it can't hurt to see if, like, there is some lucrative, easy fight in his path.
Yeah, if you find triple eyes here, you know, that's
worth coming back for.
Be good.
Yeah. Sonny, meanwhile, trying to find his way through the randomized pillar maze. And apparently I missed that Argoyles had crack. So that's going to make Volcano potentially a delight.
Right.
Caront surprising me. He's going ahead and checking some of the more out-of-the-way chests here on Sharknado floor. I'm wondering if he isn't feeling good about his levels yet, because Sonny did pick up a little bit more XP along the way than Caront did.
Mm-hmm. I wonder also if Caront is looking for any item in particular. Like, he might not feel confident without, say, the Masa, or maybe that 3rd ribbon.
True.
Because he did run from that Gershark Big Eye fight, which is worth a metric buttload of XP.
Yeah, alright, so he may be looking for gear rather than levels at this point. Sawney just going ahead and obliterating those Argoyles before they can do mean things. Finds the big money, big prizes chest. Probably going to go ahead and swing through Sharknado, and then we'll go ahead and go get his crack and kill for his first orb. Where he goes from here is what I'll be interested to see. Because at this point, he can clear every dungeon. So...
And at this point, needs to.
Well, yes, but that's... Oh, that was unpleasant for Sonny to have to deal with. Luckily, he does have life on that white mage, I hope. Yeah, he does, so...
Yeah. Nothing exciting in those chests. Gets the TNT that we know about. And finds Grey Worms. I got excited, but Sonny's color palettes being randomized definitely trolled me.
Also, I'm going to need to request that our tracker, Ragnarok784, get out of my head, because I was also thinking that life plus cure 4 is the poor man's life too. In that exact phrasing, even.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is slightly less good, but we haven't seen Cure 4, which means it's...
No, we do.
I think... sorry, we haven't seen Life 2.
I think it's at level 8, because I think we've looked in every other shop.
I believe Caront has checked every single other shop.
Yeah, he didn't look at any of the level 8 shops, but he definitely hit the other levels, so...
Yes.
I think he did even check level 7 Gaia Rag.
Yeah, he checked Gaia because level 7 had one good spell per shop at level 7.
Yeah.
What those spells were, I don't remember
where
off the top of my head.
No, I think Invis 2 was in Onrak, because I think Red Wizard could learn it, and when it comes to Red Wizard spells, Onrak might be black, but it's not.
Nice.
This is the only way I can remember which spell is which when it comes to Red Wizard learning.
Yeah,
that stupid rhyme is the only reason I don't try to buy black magic in Onrak.
Yeah, so it was Heal 3 and Invis 2 at 7. One per shop.
Okay. Which, as far as level 7 magic for Red Wizards go, you can do a lot worse.
Indeed.
Alright, so Sawney, meanwhile, as Chad is pointing out, is now in go mode. He has everything he should need to finish this seed out, except possibly levels if Topher has nasty surprises. Caront, meanwhile, has lit his first orb.
Yay! Caront still needs to check ordeals, and obviously has the other 3 Fiend dungeons to go.
Yeah,
but...
So Shift, just addressing this real quick. Yes, Onrak Ain't Black is technically a little punchier, but see, I really like remembering that stalactites are tight on the floor because stalagmites might cling to the ceiling, but they don't.
Nice.
Wait, I had that backwards. It's stalactites cling tight to the ceiling, and stalactites might, but they don't. The point being, I'm terrible at remembering 2 things that are they're similar but slightly different, and this is why I'm in academia and not doing something useful with my life.
Very fair. Very fair.
Wait, why is Sonny going back to Earth Cave?
Was there a grind tile we missed?
Oh yeah, no, that's right. There's the R Giants and the Agma. Okay, so Sonny is grinding now. And Shift 4 in chat coming up with Onrak ain't black and Gaia ain't Wyatt. So there you go. If my method of doing things is weird and dumb, there's one that's less weird and dumb.
I mean, you'll make your choice. We all make our choices about what mnemonic devices we want to use.
Fair.
Just choose wisely. You have no other choice.
Yeah, Rag, I caught that too. It's one of those things he may be hoping to find that 3rd ribbon, or maybe thinking of, putting a ribbon on the ninja before the end.
Or just not fairly new and not familiar with the stats on the heel helm, because let's face it, I didn't know that heel helms were actually good defensive gear until I got deep into this. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things where, part of it is generally speaking, in a lot of games, healing items tend to be kind of cruddy.
Yes.
So I can see why you'd think that. Also, you know, if you do watch a lot of races, especially back in like some of the older tournaments, you do see people dumping the heal helm a lot for the ribbon. And so it may be easy to get in your mind, oh, the heal helm, that's okay to drop.
Yeah.
So I can see that being the case.
Yep.
Caront going ahead and still hunting around for treasures.
Yeah. I guess he's looking for that third ribbon or a
the
better
Maz.
sword.
Yeah, like he could be looking for Maz or Excal at this point. Because he does have the Sun Sword and the Vorpal. And you know what he might be looking for?
Hmm?
Defense or White Shirt.
Ah, yes. It's either offense, a ribbon, or evasion.
Yeah. All of which I can completely understand wanting.
Yeah.
Because the thing is he hasn't seen this grind tile. He has not set foot in Earth Cave. So he also may not realize that he can get his levels fairly easily. And I didn't see what Go ahead.
He might be trying to bank on the equipment advantage over, say, doing a static grind and getting the advantage over with those levels. Yeah.
Speaking of which, his knight definitely does at least have a decent amount of experience going on. Yeah, but unfortunately, his item menu at the moment is a little bit crap. I think that's the correct phrase. A little bit crap. And hi there, Speed Gaming 3. Welcome to the back end of this Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament race. This is the first full day of races, and yeah, we have a packed schedule for this afternoon. I think we've got one race going on right now. I don't know if it's finished up yet. We have a race scheduled for 4 o'clock Eastern, and several races booked for this evening. So, yeah, if you enjoy Final Fantasy 1, this is the best time of year. And right now, we have one runner who's about to enter the final dungeon, and another runner who is, as far as we can tell, currently fishing for equipment before making his end run. And, oh my goodness, High Speed Gaming Prime with your 250 runners.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, you like I was saying, you're coming at the tail end of one of the first matches of the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring Tournament. The runner on the left, Sawneyrath, is about to make his dive into Temple of Fiends Revisited, the final dungeon of the game, and his opponent, Caront, is currently trying to catch up to him, clearing out the dungeons you need to overcome in order to take on the final dungeon. Caront is currently, we think, looking for some in-game equipment to kind of secure himself for that dive, whereas Sawny is basically at a point in terms of his levels and gear where we think he is comfortable making at least making an attempt. We have no idea if it's going to be a successful one, but he is at least in a position where it can be. So that pretty much catches you up on the situation.
Sawny is a bit more comfortable doing more risky dives in general. And as we've seen throughout the course of this race, Caront is a very cautious player, definitely going for being very prepared.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like that's part of maturing as a runner in this game, is learning what safeties you don't need. And learning what safeties you might be willing to take a little bit extra time to hunt for, because it's a good safety to have.
And also knowing which safeties are more important for which parties and which compositions, and there's a whole bit of calculus you have to really do, is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, because you shouldn't be doing math live on Twitch.
Then why are we playing randos?
I mean, I play my randos entirely by intuition.
I see.
You don't have to do the math live on Twitch if you're doing the math subconsciously.
See, I personally aspire to that image of the bird that says, "The risk I took was calculated, but gosh, am I bad at math."
I mean, that's a mood right there, is what I'm hearing. And we see that Sawney's path is being blocked by a bunch of scum. Just common scum, slowing a man down.
Okay, but is it a vile hive of scum and villainy?
I mean, it depends on if you think the fiends are in the right.
Oh, is that discourse that happens?
Okay, I'm gonna point this out. This is a conversation I don't think we have had as a community. Like, we take it for granted that Chaos and the Fiends are doing the wrong thing. But for all we know, has anyone actually stopped to ask why they are defiling the orbs and, sowing chaos upon the elements? For all we know, they may be trying to stop something even worse.
I mean, yes.
What? Okay.
Who
Think
knows
about it this
what
way,
the
Leggy.
Lethanish were up to with their hyper technology? What was?
Why
do they have war mechs?
Final Fantasy III has demonstrated that light can be just as unbalancing as darkness.
Shoutouts to Shadowbringers as well.
Yeah, that's true, but we all know that that's just the poor man's Final Fantasy III. My point being, we're sitting here assuming we are the warriors of light, saving the world from the darkness. But what if we are the light, saving that's defying the warriors of darkness?
Okay, but now I straight up want that game where you play as the four fiends of the elements.
Sorry about that. No. I'm just saying, we haven't considered our role in the situation. We're just told that we're the good guys, and we just assume it.
I mean, when you look at the arc of history and you look at the actions that people take, everyone is the hero of their own story.
Very true.
So of course that's what we think. We wouldn't know any better until someone comes and opens our eyes.
Very true.
And our light warriors are single-minded and focused, which is why they cannot mechanically be confused.
Yeah, now someone in chat is pointing out that a 2,000-year time loop isn't necessarily good, but think about it like this. If your only options to confine the rampant light are to either overcome it when there is no force that you can actually defy, or to create a time loop where, yes, history keeps repeating itself, but no one has to die who wasn't going to die anyway. Maybe maybe the fiends aren't evil. Maybe they're just choosing the only practical option they can conceive of. Anyway, though, Sawney has been kind of just making his way through this dungeon without a lot of resistance, but he's also been going through the part that doesn't really fight back very hard. Now we're getting to the part where problems arise.
Also, Inconceivable in chat points out that we're saving the world for large sums of money. What's this all talk about being heroes?
Okay, I'm going to point out something in this randomizer. Money doesn't mean anything past a certain point. You know what large sums of money means? It means I now have 200,000 gold. I am now so rich that I don't have to care anymore. And
So
you
what
get
I'm-
that about halfway through the game.
So what I'm hearing is that the Light Warriors are the 1% of World A.
Yes, they are. No, like okay, you know what? I guess that is a point against the Fiends, the Elements. They have completely ruined this world's economy.
Yeah, they've been hoarding all this money. We are just going around and collecting it and distributing it back to the noble shopkeepers. The shopkeepers are the true heroes of this game.
Yeah, I'm just going to say is, if you're watching this on YouTube later, don't forget to comment with your thoughts on who is the good guy and who is the bad guy here in Final Fantasy 1. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more hot randomizer action.
I think it's mostly the takes that are hot tonight. Though, let's face it, both of our runners have been doing an incredible job. Everyone in chat, everyone watching this later, please give both of them a follow on Twitch. They've been putting on such an amazing show this afternoon, and they both deserve your support.
Oh yeah, and also don't forget to take a peek at what good old Ragnarok784's been up to. He has been doing an excellent job keeping track of where we found things, and we would not be able to do this without him. Mostly because we would keep getting distracted trying to click the tracker and would lose things that are happening.
Yeah, and also, can I just give a quick shout out to the Speed Gaming family of networks who are doing incredible work, helping us out, and basically allowing us to broadcast our spiciest of takes on their network.
I mean, whether or not they'll let us do that later is a different question, but for now they're letting us do it.
I mean, they didn't instantly pull the plug on us, so we are probably at least mostly okay.
Alright, so we'd have Sawneyrath taking on Tiamat. Kraken did not put up much of a fight.
Caront has finally found the Excalibur in the Cardia Isles.
Alright, so if he keeps checking chests after this, we may...
Which he is.
Okay. You're a little bit ahead of me, but that's okay.
He just checked the rest in the room.
Okay, so he was literally just looking for a weapon that was not the Vorpal sword for that night.
Except he goes to the next Cardia Island, forgoing the 4 chests.
He may not realize there are 4 more chests there.
Yeah.
Min, we're suspecting that Caront is not comfortable with his equipment situation, and that's why he's still opening chests.
Finds his 3rd ribbon in the other Cardia Island. So that's a damn good pickup.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why it's generally a good idea to hit up Cardia when you first get that airship, if you are still looking for things. Yes. Because it's roughly 13 chests that you do not have to fight anyone for.
Yeah. Unless you get ridiculously unlucky with overworld steps.
Yeah. And, anyway, here's Chaos!
Here's Nuclear from Chaos.
That's not a great start when your party is, mages and a ninja. Not what you want to see off the bat.
But luckily, the white mage does have that... Oh! Ooh! Yikes.
Oh, that's bad. That's not great. So, for those of you who don't know Final Fantasy 1, so nuclear hits for what? Like 1 to 250, something like 100 to 250, something like that?
Nuclear hits up to 320. It's got the same damage roll as Fade.
Okay, and Nuke can hit for up to 400 HP.
Correct.
Sawneyrath's party, yeah, you can see right there. None of them actually have 400 HP right now.
Yep.
So, So, considering that Nuke also has a stupidly high accuracy, and the only way to mitigate that damage is to do that thing where you, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Make your saving throw. Sawneyrath is about to have to do a little bit of grinding.
Yes, which both increases the odds he'll make his save, and also gives him more HP so that he might be able to survive a nuke. Or a nuke followed by a nuclear.
So, if you're here from those raids that came by earlier, go ahead and buckle in, because, Temple of Fiends might take a minute. Because we don't actually know what else Chaos has behind that nuclear and nuke, because it's a nuclear and nuke. It's really hard to survive that to find out what the third thing is.
Yeah, and even if you make your saving throw, that's still upwards of 360 health just gone. And the odds of making your saving throw as a light warrior, what levels does Sani have?
He, I think, is sitting in the mid-20s right now. So he's only a little bit ahead of Caront in terms of XP, but here's the major difference. That knight has almost 500 HP.
And also, the highest MDef of any one character here in this party. So, let's see here. The thief is where again? Sorry.
Thief should be sitting in the mid-20s. I think when Sawney stopped his grind earlier, he just hit 25 on at least 2 characters. And he hasn't done any, like, solo grinding, so Thief, when he... we'll see here in a moment. So Much has just hit 27.
Okay, let's just be generous and assume that that Thief is at level 30. That gives that Thief 75 MDef. We subtract that from 255, leaving us with 180, if I'm doing my math correct.
Oh, so it's only what, a
90%?
9%. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you have about a 10% chance of resisting the nuke.
Which would have the damage
to 200 damage.
Okay, I'm going to point out Leggy is doing that math with a calculator, so technically the calculator is doing the math, and the calculator is not live on Twitch. Boom! Loopholed. Alright, so Sawney hit 27 and is going back in. So he got enough HP for that Thief to stay upright through the nuke if he gets the Cure 4 off on time. So Sawney, I think, is basically gambling that on Chaos rolling kind of crappy on Absorb, Evade, and HP.
To be fair, Nuclear has a lower accuracy rating, and so is about 30% less likely to high roll.
But Caront does find that white shirt, and I'll be surprised if he opens more chests. That has got to be what he was wanting.
Agreed. And, like, even if he opens more chests, that spider room takes forever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, he's opening more chests. Yeah, I think at this point this is nerves. Like, this is nerves and inexperience.
Yeah. This is...
the key is at TNT. TNT is located in the Castle of Ordeals. Caront knows that that's the last key item location he hasn't checked yet. He just hasn't done it.
Actually, he might have his numbers crossed, and he might have just blanked on where on that Castle Ordeals was left, maybe with a misclick on a tracker, or just, nerves getting the best of him.
He could also be miscalculating his loose items. He may not realize that there's only 2 loose items and that he found both of them already.
Yeah.
That would be unfortunate. He does at least find dragon armor for his knight, though, so... And he leaves it.
Huh.
So, dragon armor is the best armor in the game. Period. It has the best absorb available, has fantastic evasion reduction, doesn't impact your evasion much, if at all, and provides immunity to lightning, or resistance to lightning, fire, and ice effects.
Yeah, the only other piece of armor that comes close is the opal armor, which has similar statistics except no fire or ice resistance.
Which makes it inherently inferior, because when was the last time you really had to worry about something with thunder?
Earlier this seed?
Okay, yes. The opal armor would have been nice against the Caribs, but they were a problem before we could have equipped it anyway.
But yes.
But yeah, so that's a mental error to leave that dragon armor behind, but that leads me to think he does think there's a loose item he doesn't have.
Yeah. And he's just I'm not working for equipment, I'm just opening boxes trying to find that last item.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Min. I'm really hoping he didn't mess up his tracking, but that seems the most likely scenario. Because if he knows that he still needs the key, Ordeals is still right there. So, but he is at least he is doing this while making progress toward victory.
Yes.
Even if he is doing this slow, he is at least making his way through the dungeons and lighting the orbs while hunting.
Yeah, I do hope he does Ordeals after this. Because then at least he will get his forward progress. If he leaves here and goes to, say, Earth Cave, then I will be so heartbroken.
Yeah, it will be unfortunate, but it's, that's part of the learning process, is sometimes you lose track of what you need and where it has to be.
Yes. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the newer runners who have joined this tournament. Thank you all so much for coming out and just diving in to this wild and wonderful world.
Yeah, and the other thing to point out though is even if he does wind up full clearing Earth or something like that, there's no way he's not finishing this in under 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He is still going to finish this with a pretty solid time for these flags, because I think most of the practice runs have gravitated toward hour 45 to 2:15, haven't they?
That has been my experience. Granted, I wasn't sure whether or not that's just how these flags go or my own rust.
I mean, it's one of those things. Go ahead. But
even the seed I had, which was just a ridiculous jet seed, took an hour 30.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. That really seems promising for Caront in terms of his execution in combat. If he's taking all this time on the map, and this is still where he's still going to wind up with a time that's pretty comfortable, all things considered. That's not a terrible place to be as a new runner, because you can learn to step route better and learn to learn when to be more aware of your tracker and all that good stuff. But you can't necessarily learn execution as easily, and he does seem to be planning well for the situations he's getting into.
Yes. He is definitely taking all of the necessary precautions, and it's actually been really nice to see.
One-shots Tiamat at just about. And that is his third orb. And speaking of Tiamat, Sawney is dealing with his own Tiamat, which this one's not going to be long for this world. So, alright. What are you seeing Sawneyrath doing to set this chaos fight? I mean, obviously he is going to hurl fasts onto that ninja as fast as possible, and pray to the gods of RNG that his white mage stays up long enough to heal the ninja before that nuke rolls out.
Yeah, I know Sonny's gonna have his ribbons in the right spot, because what else can you do?
Yeah, like that, and that's just to safeguard against what Chaos is going to do after that nuke.
Yeah, he knows he needs to go full defensive after the first either spell or ability that comes out. So here's the nuclear.
White Mage squeezes out. He's got to get that Cure 4 down before the nuke comes out.
Yep. There it goes. Oh, Chaos goes punchy.
Alright, that's what you want to see in this situation. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate for the Black Mage, but...
Here's the nuke. And now it's up to the ninja.
Yeah, well, fortunately, he's gotten, I think, 3 or 4 bonks off, so that'll help a lot.
Swinging for a couple hundred a hit. But Chaos is being very spell-happy. Takes it down!
Alright, that was a paper Chaos. Okay, probably not. That was 8 hits for 1,400, but still, that was like 3 swings. So yeah, get those GGs out for in chat for Sawneyrath, who's finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 30 seconds. And
GG. Yeah,
it looks like Caront has opted to go ahead and forfeit, which is unfortunate, but understandable. And we're going to see if we can get them both in here to have a little bit of a conversation.
Hey, Sonny.
Hello. Shoutouts to Nuclear Chaos.
Shoutouts to Nuclear Chaos, indeed.
Alright.
I'm just glad Cure 4 got initiative before that nuke came out, because that was the only thing that was making me sweat.
Yeah, no, we figured that would have to be your game plan. And yeah, Caront should be joining us shortly. He is down in the waiting room. I think he may have gotten up to get something to drink or, take a quick bio before joining us. But that was a seed.
Yes, it was. Yeah, my gut told me to go Marsh early, and I should have and didn't, but it's okay. I mean, things panned out eventually.
Yeah, and I believe that is the sound of Caront unmuting. GG Caront.
Thank you, everyone. I apologize for making terrible plays throughout, so...
I mean, okay. Alright, Sonny, we need to talk to Caront about what happened real quick. So if you can hold on just a sec before we get back to your play.
Oh dear.
Absolutely.
Alright. Well, no, okay. Here's the thing, Caront. What were you looking for in those chests? Let's start there.
Key.
Okay. You forgot that Ordeals was incentivized.
Yes, I did. I'll be honest. That. And also, I'll be honest, I was in behind mode after 20 minutes. Because I realized, because when I got the floater, I immediately saw dollar signs, basically, and started rushing out to go get it, forgetting I didn't have the canoe to be able to get it.
All right.
So that led to me trying to compensate, and essentially it snowballed.
Let me stop you there. You were airborne before Sawneyrath.
Was I?
He
Yes.
went to Sky and Earth Cave before Marsh Cave.
Whereas, I mean, understandable given that Marsh Cave can go, die in a fire. But
but that's the thing is, well, first of all, you had the fire for it to die in, as well as the electricity to make sure that it stayed dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What basically you hung with Sawney up until the point where you didn't think you could get to where you thought you were out of incentive locations.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I just completely blanked on ordeals, and I'm not sure exactly why. Because
it happens. Like you have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of.
Not gonna stop me anyway.
Yeah.
Woo!
No. Here's the thing: is your play, all things considered, like even with all of the extra checks you made. Actually, no, that was the other thing, is Sawney also checked C before he went to Marsh. Sawney, you get unmute if you want to chime in on all of this, because we are talking about your decisions.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I was muted because I was drinking my water.
Checking Ocean's understandable, given that it was incentivized, that we knew from the reveal that it was incentivized.
Yeah. So my decision on going to check C first really led down to it's an incentive, and I have 3 different ways to cast Bane. So I have a very good chance of getting through. Good in massive air quotes. But in the end, Kraken had little to no HP, so that really wasn't much of an issue. At that point, it was, okay, what do I have that I haven't checked? Marsh, and really Marsh. Yeah, let's go to Marsh.
Yeah. Whereas Caront basically made the play to Sky, like you did. Actually was able to walk out the greater than less than treasure. And then his next play was to go straight to Marsh Cave. Which I think that was just a consequence of, well, I'm going to stop at Elfland anyway. Let's go ahead and do this. And if it's not here, then I'll go on to Earth and then whatever. Like, I'm not sure exactly what your routing plan there was, but that's what it seemed like.
What it was, essentially what I was thinking at that point was, the reason I went to Sky in the first place for the quick play was, like I said, at 20 minutes, I felt like I was already losing. So I knew I had to make that up somehow. So I went to Sky thinking, okay, if I can get some levels, if I can get these guys a little bit up off the carpet, then I can start making some of my other plays a little bit faster. So I got the levels at Sky. I got the treasures, hoping that it would be incentivized there, or that there would be a loose there. Turns out not so much. But after that, then I decided I was going to go ahead and go Marsh, because then I had the fires with which it could die. And thus, I decided, even though we've been really trying to basically curse Marsh into oblivion and all of the duckling seeds, I figured it wouldn't be the worst play in the world, given that I could, Elfland was relatively near, and I had the levels where I felt I could get it taken care of. And then, of course, I found those looses, and I about lost my mind.
We did too, to be completely honest. Like, because
Yes.
the thing to bear in mind is, when you found those, Sawney, I think, was about halfway through checking Earth.
Right.
And then he went to C.
Right.
So it was
So it was a revelation to everybody.
Yeah, and it was
a revelation to everyone, and like when you turned in that herb right away, found that canoe.
I'll be honest, at that point, I felt even more behind, because what I thought Sawney was doing was, I figured, okay, he made the same play, went to Marsh earlier than I did, got those, got the canoe, went ahead and got his boat, or got his airship, flying around the world, and I basically put on the gas at that point because I knew I was losing.
Yeah. And in a situation like that, the best advice I can give you is, don't worry about what route your opponent might have taken.
Well, I mean, it is a competition, so...
It is a competition, but it's honestly a lot more like golf than it is like basketball.
Oh, dear.
Like, well, no, it's one of those things.
I know what you mean. It's an individual, yet it's not an individual sport.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yes, you have to care about how well the person you are competing with is doing, but at the end of the day, their decisions do not affect the decisions you're making. If you're playing your best game, then that's what you have to gun for in a tournament like this, where You just have to play your best game, and you can't think about, well, did they make, the optimal play? Because you didn't make... If they made the optimal play and you didn't, you've already lost. So you might as well try to play the best game you can and hope they screw up somewhere else.
Yeah, well...
Or...
There is one set of decisions you have to worry about, and that's whatever the rando decided to do.
Yeah. I mean, what I was afraid of, and I'm going to be cursing myself for a while and trying to figure out how I forgot about ordeals. That's the 72-point title screen on this one.
Yeah,
but
look.
Also, I mean, really, that's since I didn't find that in ordeals, I was running around like mad thinking that was the third, that was the the remaining loose, but I had already picked those up and I had essentially blanked on that. Yeah.
Because the thing is it took us a while to realize that's what you were even doing. When you go back to watch the VOD, you're going to hear a lot of the phrase, well, he's a newer runner, he may not be comfortable with the equipment he has.
Well, yeah, pretty much. All you really need to do to sum up this seed is take a big Sharpie, apply it to my forehead, write the word noob, and that essentially will do it.
Well, yeah, but okay, here's the other thing that you need to know, Caront.
Okay.
Chaos's opening skill and spell were respectively nuclear and nuke.
The words that I have to use on that are not applicable to PG-13 channels.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Sawney, what was your party?
Thief Rainbow. It was not a party that was meant for a nuclear chaos unless I got turn order with my white wizard, which I did the second time around after grinding to 27. And yeah, you had to rely on a Cure 4 to go off. Otherwise, you were dead.
Yeah. What was your party?
I went Fighter, Thief, Red, White.
So here's the thing. Yeah, go ahead, Leggy. You can take this one.
Yeah. So let's talk about what a fighter is good at.
Hitting things?
And that is surviving. Yes. So because you had the tank, you would have had a much better shot at one-shotting Topher than Sawney did.
And more importantly, if Chaos had any kind of absorb or evade or anything that would have taken down a soft target after that, like, you were still in that match until Sawney got done. Because all it would have taken is Sawney having, like, I think, one more bout of bad luck with Chaos and deciding to go grind a little bit more, and you could have sniped him.
So effectively, if I had not brained out on ordeals, we essentially would have had a photo finish.
Yeah, no, like it
was in the cards.
That's what you need to take away from this. Not, oh god, I forgot about ordeals. It's, oh god, if I hadn't forgotten ordeals, I was into this race with someone who is far more experienced than I am.
You say potato, I say potato.
I'm saying the thing that you need to take away going into week 2.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be going up against, you're going to be going up against runners that are beatable. And that's what you need to keep in your head as you're preparing for next week's flags is, I could have taken Sawneyrath, but for a couple of mental errors. I can take anyone in this league.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the assurance.
Yeah. The other thing I'll recommend is one of the things we were comparing you to is Tarnin. So I definitely recommend giving her races a watch. I think her playstyle lines up with yours super nicely.
Well, not just give her races a watch. Hit up Tarnin for advice. Like, your playstyle and Tarnin's are very similar. And I think that, like, hitting her up for a little bit of advice might not be the worst thing. She's a very, nice person to talk to, and yeah, that would definitely be something I'd do. All right, so now we're done with all of that. Sonny! Sorry about that, but I mean, it's one of those things. Caront had a rough time of it, and you know how it is when you see someone kind of have a rough time. You want to kind of talk to them about it a little bit and help them learn.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've all been new to this game at one point or another.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the race where Volcano was incentivized. I go down, I open the chest, or at least I think I do. I leave, completely forgetting that I never opened the dang floater.
Been there. Done that.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just trying to think through some of the stuff that I noticed on your sprint through that. Obviously, there was the #NeverMarsh routing.
Oh yeah, it definitely was #NeverMarsh because, well, I had so much more chest density to go check and was putting Marsh on the back burner until I was like, no, I'm not going into the Flying Fortress. I've already cleared what I can of Earth. I've already cleared Earth. I've already cleared Sea, and okay, Marsh is the only play I have left. Let's go do. Oh, there's Ruby. There's Herb.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
Yeah, I do have to ask, what was the? All right, why double dipping Earth rather than just biting the bullet and going to Marsh?
One, to check the Earth Elemental tile, which was really nice. Two, it was also going to be to check the Hall of Giants, but I was like, you know what? I've already found a red giant Agma tile. That's going to be good enough for a grind up to X level. I'm just going to go ahead and check the rest of it.
Yeah, and that was, it is one of those things that is what saved you in the end, was knowing that grind spot when you realized, oh God.
Yeah, it really did save my bacon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... Sorry, I'm having to replay the race in my head real quick to kind of see if there's any other places I want to kind of talk about. So, was there any points where you felt behind? Because I know you had that, you spent all that time getting to Sky, crawling up through it, and you only walked away with the first floor's treasure. Did that make you feel set back any, or...?
A little bit. I didn't feel super far behind until I found the herb and then had it lead into Canoe. That's where I felt extremely behind, knew I needed to play catch up, and had to put my foot not only on the pedal, but take that pedal and put it all the way down to below the metal itself. Had to kick it into overdrive. And truth be told, with what I've taken away so far, I was quite a bit behind and just made up all that time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, basically you just punching it is kind of what allowed you to kind of get back in the lead. Also the fact that, you did get those 2 orbs lit. You routed very well, and that allowed you a little time that you needed. Also, just your magic pickups. One of the big time saves you had over Caront is you had warp when you got to ice, so you were able to just grab your treasure, figure out, okay, I now know where everything is, and leave. He had to walk all the way through ice and was, making chest checks along the way. But that, the long part of ice is just the random encounters, not so much the chest checks.
Yes, I have to agree on that one. And having the warp charges at that point in time was really nice. I mean, I tried to take a couple of the Red Giant Agama fights so that way I could hit at least level 12, so that way I would have the warp charges available. And I had quite a few lit 3 charges going into Sea Shrine when I did that. So the levels obtained from both that quick grind and then the run through sea definitely helped a lot in the long run. And then after finding out I was behind with grabbing the canoe from the herb, it was just then grab the rest of my items and get through this thing as quick as I can. Fortunately, finding the tail along the way allowed me to then go promote.
Yeah, I feel like with the party choice you had, that tail was not optional.
No, it was not. Especially considering I found the katana and I found the Vorpal. Both the high crit weapons The only thing that would have made the party viable without promotion is Mosmian itself, and I never found that.
Yeah, and I don't think Caront, I don't think you found Mazza either. So I think
No, I didn't. And just to make a slight correction on what you were mentioning with Ice, I did have exit, so I was able to leave quickly. But again, I was in the, oh my god, where's the key mindset, and so that did lose me time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he specifically was referring to the warp trick, where you drop down the hole between those three chests and then warp back up. Yeah, Sawney just warped and then immediately exited.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I
yeah, no, you're fine.
What you were talking about.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It is one of those things. Yeah, you were able to just immediately hop out after you fought those slimes and got your tail. But yeah, so it's one of those things where like, crap, Mazza, I think basically had to be in Topher, because I think we saw every other chest in the game between you two.
I didn't check the key locked.
Oh yeah, I guess it could have been one of the key lock locations. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. There was only a handful of places that Mazza could have been at that point, and we looked at we looked at everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and call it now. Mazza was in TFC.
I'm going to go top right. Temple of Fiends locked.
All right, if you guys, if you two want to check that later and get back to us with where that Mazza was, I'm curious now.
Yeah,
my bet is for Astos. Middle chest.
Ooh.
I'm not really sure what to bet now, so I'll just abstain.
All right, that's fair. Anyway, though, we probably should
go vanilla.
Yeah. Anyway, though, y'all both ran a really good seed. I'm looking forward to seeing your races next week. Sawney, I hope you realize that by winning, you have made the critical error of now putting yourself up against all the people who are going to win their matches this week.
It's going to be luck of the draw.
Caront, congratulations on, not having to potentially having to play crab cakes for your second tournament race.
Well, thank you. And thank you to you guys on the co-coms and to Restream and everybody. And thank you also to chat. Again, apologies for my bad plays, but hopefully y'all had fun. And I guess I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, never apologize for how you play unless the way you play, involves... I don't know. No, there's no way you could play this game where you would owe anyone an apology unless you, name your characters horrible things and put things on your stream that are awful. And if that's the case, you don't need to apologize because we're going to pull you off of the stream faster than you can say hiccup.
Well, considering I named my characters after my best friends, and my best friend spent half the game on the carpet because he was the thief, I may need to apologize to him later.
Oh, yeah, but that's a different problem from us. You don't owe us an apology, but yeah. So, Sonny, you have anything to add?
I mean, a massive thanks to you guys for casting this match. Huge shout-outs to Ragnarok for doing the tracking as well, and I definitely could have routed this better, but in the end, it doesn't matter. I still finished.
Exactly. And yeah, Caront, I would personally encourage you to go ahead and finish out this seed just for the practice. Just so you can see how Topher would have gone for you.
Yeah, I may have to do that later, though, because as I mentioned in the stream chat, I am due to start streaming my first Pokemon Nuzlocke in about 30 minutes.
Oh, what version?
Oh, gosh, have fun.
Leaf Green.
All right, have fun with that. Leaf Green is one of my favorites, so you have fun with that.
Considering I've only completed one Pokemon game prior to this, it's going to be interesting.
All right. So, Lakey, you want to go ahead and take us home? Because I don't really think I got much else to add.
Yeah, so I just want to give a quick round of shout-outs. First of all, once again, thank you to both of our runners today for putting on such an amazing show. Thank you to you, Woat, for putting up with my nonsense and for providing enough of your own. And thank you so much for the Speed Gaming family of networks for hosting this race and so many others that are going to be happening during this Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament.
All right. Yeah, I believe we have a race coming up in about 45 minutes. on Speed Gaming 6, I want to say. That might be in a later race. I, have been in isolation here calling this, so I haven't been able to look at what the calendar is.
I don't see any others on right now.
No, we've got a race on Speed Gaming 4 in about 40 minutes. 4. Okay. Well, shoot! Then stick around here. There's another race coming up in about 40 minutes here on Speed Gaming 4. Min versus Jazz Raptor. That's another race of someone who's been around for a little bit versus a relatively new runner. I know Min is has been having to do a little bit of de-rusting. I think he might still be singing chat even. But very knowledgeable. Jazz Raptor's come on strong. I know he's been doing a little bit of the Iron Goal stuff, so that promises to be a really good match. I'm not sure who's calling it, but I think Caleb's calling that one, so that's going to be some excellent commentary to go with it. So, yeah, no, stick around. Be sure to watch. Be sure to enjoy. This is the beginning of the 2020 Spring Tournament, and it is going to be hilarious. But yeah, I think that'll do it for us. So, yeah. Catch you on the flip side. Hope to see you in chat moving forward.